It is May the 12th, and Brent and I got to the property last night, yesterday afternoon I guess, and got all settled. And then the first thing we did was to come down and check out the garden. And the first thing we noticed was how much the cover crop was grown. It is huge. This bed maybe not quite as much as this bed up here, which is probably over 3 feet tall. So we put a cover crop on our garden beds every fall. It's got an annual rye, a vetch, and a field pea mix of seeds, and we let it grow through the fall and into the spring. It's gotten so tall that we're going to need to weed eat it a few times and bring it down. We'll probably rake that up and stick it in the compost for green manure, and then the rest we'll just get pitchfork turned over and then let it sit for a few days to sort of die off. But that bed right up there is going to be potatoes this year, and this bed here is going to be onions. These ones are going to be tomato and peppers. So this trip we'll put in the potatoes and the onions. We will not put in the tomatoes and the peppers until next time we come up. We have not had much rain. I don't know if you can see here, but like the soil is just super powdery, and that's not a good sign. We live in a really high forest fire prone area, and so really dry springs kind of are concerning. So hopefully we're going to have, oh, there's a weed eater starting up. Okay, so the weed eater's started, so we're going to do this quickly before he comes down here. Garlics. The garlic are doing fantastic. I put in 200 cloves last year, and I was more diligent about making sure that I chose the very best bulbs to use for seed this year rather than to eat the best ones. And I think it's made a difference, because for this time of the year in this zone, they're huge and they're looking great. And the other reason I think they're looking so good is that we put extra strands on the electric fence wires and brought it up as high as we could, and it's definitely kept the deer out, because normally they come in and eat the tops off my garlic. So anyway, I got tons of weeding to do this morning, and then those beds are going to need to be turned, and we'll get some potatoes planted. Okay, so the weed eating portion is done, and most of this, as it turns out, is going to just stay on top and get turned in to the beds. It'll break down fairly quickly. These ones got weed eated, and then it got killed, the whirly twirly thing. These beds got weed eated, and then they got pitchforked. Now they're getting a bit of water just because it's so dry. This isn't something we would normally even need to do, but given our lack of rain. And then they're going to get covered up with some black plastic for a couple days. Try to increase the heat and the temperature of the soil, break down some of this fiber, and get them all ready for their potatoes and their onions. A nice big happy rhubarb is growing like crazy. I'll have to harvest some of that before we leave. More beds turned, more beds covered, more beds to be worked on. So here we are, it's the day before we head back home, and we have managed to till up all of these beds, turn them over, cover them with plastic. The last 4 or 5 days have been really sunny and warm, so it's done a good job of starting to break down these beds and to hold in a bit of moisture and warmth. So that bed up there has been completely planted with potatoes. I do not recall all the varieties other than Kennebec and Binchi, and that's the only two I remember. Sorry. This bed here has onions, and I do know that we put in a whole bunch of yellow onions, some Spanish onions, and then some little Walla Wallas that were started from seed on either end. We will now be leaving those to do their thing all on their own. These beds over here will be the tomato and pepper beds next time we come up. But we did manage to put in, I think it's 11 tomato plants, yellow taxis and bumblebees. So hopefully they will do okay on their own. It is a little early to put them in, but we're going to just see kind of as a test, how do they do. And as you can see, we're finally getting some rain. And that is so exciting because we have needed rain badly. Anyway, the rest of the beds are turned over and covered up. Most of them got watered first because it has been so dry, and then covered. And that will hopefully, again, retain some moisture and then heat the beds up, kill off some of the weed seeds, start to break down the cover crop, and get them all ready for next month when we start to plant more of the seedlings in. So the garlics are still doing fantastic. I'm so super excited about them. We'll see how they do when we pull them out. The raspberries are putting on blossoms. They're doing great. And I think that's it. We're going to be packing up and getting ready to head back home for a little while. Looking forward to being here for the whole summer. So thanks for following along this little garden tour video for the month of May. And I look forward to chatting about the garden in the coming months. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.